A fear of intimacy can look like having high expectations for a partner. If you feel called out, my apologies, but this video is for you. So keep watching to hear more about what I'm talking about. My name is Lindsay if you're new here, and I am the Real Love Alchemist, and I help you go from bad relationships to real love with the magic of subconscious work. So that means I'm an energy healer, I'm a dating coach, also a spiritual guide. And so if you're interested in working with me, click on the link in the description to learn more. So, never settle is something that I hear so much across the social media world, on YouTube, and it's really this refrain that comes up when people are talking about dating and trying to find a partner who meets all of their expectations. And I am totally in favor of this. I have no problem with never settling. But there is some nuance to this, because sometimes we are truly going from a bad relationship and we're wanting a healthy relationship, and we're in this place of like, I'm not going to settle for a bad relationship. And that is what I agree with. I don't want anyone to settle for a relationship where they don't feel loved, where they don't feel appreciated, where their partner mistreats them or doesn't respect them. I completely agree. Never settle for that kind of relationship. But here's the nuance. If you are experiencing some fear of intimacy, then you can take that never settling concept, that never settling mindset, a bit too far, and you can actually push away people who would be really good partners for you. People who wouldn't be perfect, who wouldn't necessarily meet every single one of your expectations that you have for a partner. Like that they're 6 feet tall, or that they always clean up after themselves. You might not be able to find someone who meets every single one of those expectations, but you could find a really great partner who meets like 80% of them, who you would be really, really happy with. So I want to dive into this today, the nuance when it comes to that never settling, and how a fear of intimacy can actually keep you in that mindset, like I talked about, of pushing people away. So I actually see this a lot when I talk to clients and when I just speak to people when I'm on my social media platforms. There is this current dating experience where a lot of us are experiencing a subconscious fear of intimacy. And that means there's some resistance in the subconscious to getting close to someone, to getting vulnerable with someone, to experiencing the messiness that is a real healthy relationship. And I see this manifesting in a lot of different ways, but one of the ways I most commonly see it manifesting is this, I'm never gonna settle. Here's what I see happening. In our modern culture, we have so many choices and options at our fingertips. You know, you sit down to watch TV, it's not just cable TV anymore. You can watch Netflix, you can watch Apple, you can watch something on YouTube, you can watch something on Amazon. There's so many different options that we have, and that's just talking about TV. And I didn't even name them all. HBO, Cinemax, you know what I mean. There's so many options that we have out there. And part of what I see happening is a lot of us are getting conditioned to having a ton of options at our fingertips, and it's almost conditioning us to want the same thing when it comes to relationships, and to think of people, partners, potential partners, kind of in the same way. Like, oh, when we're on our dating app, we can just dial up a new person, like a new show that we do on our TV. And so it puts us in this mindset of feeling like people are commodities to us. And then on top of that, we have the intimacy fears. So I talked about this in another video, but what I see happening a lot is going through the pandemic, a lot of us had some stuff come up. It wasn't easy for a lot of us. There was some trauma that happened experiencing the pandemic. And when you have some trauma, when there's some unresolved wounds, that very often creates this fear of intimacy. So what I see is the commodification culture and the subconscious fears of intimacy from the pandemic kind of like converging and creating this dating storm almost, this perfect storm of dating where it's actually kind of challenging these days to find a partner with these things going on. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because again, never settling for a bad relationship is a good thing. But what a lot of us are resistant to, because of some of these factors that I talked about, is compromising. And again, finding a partner who's really good for us, who has like 80% of the things that we need and who can make us really happy, and not trying to find that perfect person who has like 95 or 100% of the things that we're looking for. Because in large part, that's not real. That's a fantasy. There isn't going to be a person who hits every single one of your expectations. And the way we are these days, we feel like that, again, when it comes to shopping on Amazon. If something isn't hitting every single one of our expectations, we're like, all right, great, I can find something better, I can move on. But people are different. Relationships are not like that. And I see right now a resistance to compromising and really opening ourselves up to the vulnerability and the messiness of a healthy relationship. And to go back to the intimacy fears, this is a strategy. This never settle is a strategy that the subconscious can use to keep people at a distance. Because we're not loving objects here. We're not trying to fall in love with an object. We're trying to fall in love with a person, a human who is messy, who has some imperfections, who has some challenges, some weaknesses, some things that they're working on, just like you do. If you want somebody to love all of you, the parts of you that aren't perfect, the parts of you that maybe you're not so excited to share with somebody, the parts that you feel really vulnerable about, then that's what we want to be doing for someone else. Now, again, this never means settling for a bad relationship, but you want to check those intimacy fears. Sorry, I can't talk today. Those intimacy fears. And if you feel like this is resonating for you, if you feel like you have that mindset of, I'm never going to settle, but it's keeping you single and lonely, then keep watching. Because if we have those intimacy fears going on, and if we're stuck in that never settle mindset, you actually miss out on so much of the beauty that real love has to offer. Like I said, that messiness, that vulnerability that comes with a healthy relationship where you're letting somebody in and they're not perfect, but they make you happy and you feel loved and cared for, and you can create a life together. There's so much good stuff in there that you could be missing out because you're looking for perfection and feeling like you never want to settle. So you might be asking, well, how do you break free from those intimacy fears? What do you do? Well, the best way that I found is to work with me. I am an energy healer, like I said in the beginning of the video. And what I do is I tap into my client's subconscious, and it takes me, the subconscious, to the exact specific blocks that are going on. So there could be things like trapped emotional energies from the past, suppressed emotions, things from the past that you were not able to fully process at the time that are still lingering in your subconscious, telling your subconscious that intimacy is something to be afraid of, something to avoid. You could have certain resistances in your subconscious to intimacy, to love, to connection, to commitment, that are again from those wounds from the past. You can also have negative beliefs about yourself, about love, about relationships. Sometimes there's just one, but sometimes there's complete systems of beliefs that are keeping you stuck. And actually, I am newly certified in the Discover Healing's belief code, which means I'm now able to access full belief systems, limiting belief systems that are keeping you stuck in whatever you have going on, but especially when it comes to relationships. I've been working with clients for the past few weeks using this system, and there's so many negative beliefs that we can have about what we deserve in love and what's safe in love, what is possible for us. So again, if this is you, if you notice yourself in this dynamic of like you're out there dating, you don't want to settle, but it's just not happening for you, like every single person that you meet just seems like they're not it, then this could be a way for your subconscious to keep you safe. It could be at a deeper level an intimacy fear. So if you're interested in working with me, again, click on the link in the description. Because here's the thing too. If you have an intimacy fear, or if you're stuck in this mindset of never wanting to settle and having really, really high expectations, just the thought of compromising and choosing someone who meets like 80% of your expectations instead of 90 or 100, that can feel like, oh my God, I just can't settle. I don't want to, because otherwise you might feel very sad and disappointed and like you're missing out on something. But what I can tell you from having gone through this myself and finding a partner, compromising a little bit on certain things, but finding a partner who has, like 80% of what I'm looking for, it doesn't feel like settling at all, actually. It was an illusion. That was what my mind was telling me was going to happen. But in reality, I feel like I've been given the greatest gift possible, because now I get to experience real love again in all of its beauty, all of its messiness. I feel like I can embrace the humanity of my partner now that I've done this, and I feel embraced myself. Because if I'm real, and my partner and I have talked about this, I don't meet all of his expectations. I don't meet every single one that he had. I probably meet like 80, just like the same for both of us. But he's also very happy in this relationship, and I feel fully embraced by him. And so I understand if it feels very scary and very sad to let go of this never settle mentality. But again, it's usually just an illusion. It's usually just something the mind is clinging to because it's afraid of going deeper. And again, good news, you can release that. I'd be happy to work with you on that. But I do think that it's one of the greatest gifts I've been given. If you want to know why I find this a particularly challenging time to be dating, check out this video here.